Well, we are coming to the end of another year, and now is the appropriate time to take a look back on all the episodes we did this year. We did a little bit of research and found the wines between the two of us that we rated the highest and the lowest, and we're going to relive some of those experiences today to help you find some wines we think you should drink and avoid as we head into 2024. So here we go. Hello, and welcome to the Wine Pair Podcast. I'm Joe, your sommelier of a reasonably priced wine, and I'm doing this quick intro to the episode while Carmela works like crazy to get her baby cakes and baby bites ready for all of the holiday orders, and we are the Wine Pair. Okay, a quick orientation for those of you who may be new to the podcast. In each episode, what we usually do is we learn about and taste and give our honest review of 3 wines that are reasonably priced, which means under $20 each, and should be easy for you to find. And as you would expect, we also talk about foods to pair with the wine, which is totally appropriate. And our podcast is made for people who want to learn more about wine, find new wines to enjoy, and just want someone to talk about wine in a fun way that regular people can understand, like us, and use in their daily lives. So if that sounds like you, you're in the right place. And we're proud to say that we are recommended by the editors of Decanter magazine, who call us fun, irreverent, and Carmela would usually say here, chatty and entertaining. So we're going to do something we've never done before. We're going to do a retrospective of the highest and lowest wines we tasted and reviewed this year. So as I mentioned, Carmela is super busy making treats for people who ordered from her baby cakes business. So I'll do an intro, but then you will hear her when we do our review of the top and bottom rated wines for 2023, because we're going to share with you the recordings that we did of those so you can hear what we really tasted and thought, and the foods that we thought would pair with them or wouldn't pair with them at all in the case of the bad wines because they were crappy. So, believe it or not, Carmela and I tasted over 115 wines this year in the podcast, and only 11 of those had a rating of 9 or higher by at least one of us. And none of them, interestingly enough, got a unanimous 10. That's on the good side. On the bad side, 5 wines of those 115 had an average rating of 4 or lower. So that means the vast majority of the wines that we tasted and reviewed this year fell between an average rating of 5 and 7, which is about what I would expect. And it probably means that we give some wines the benefit of the doubt because, whatever. But I think we are pretty honest. And I think that's the nice thing about the podcast. So instead of just giving you the ratings of the top rated wines like rating companies like Wine Enthusiast and Wine Spectator do, we rate all the wines that we taste on our 10-point scale. And that means you're going to get our thoughts on the good wines and the bad wines. So when we taste wines, we give you the straight dope. And I have a link to an article in our show notes that talks about how those 100-point rating scales work. And what's interesting to me is that in those 100-point rating scales, an 80 rated wine is actually considered to be a pretty solid wine, but you almost never see a rating that low. In fact, you almost never see a rating below, say, 88 or even 87. So we think our rating scale is a little more honest because we're going to give you the rating of any wine we taste, and we're going to go over some of those today. Again, our rating scale goes from 1 to 10, and there are no half points. And the way we think about it is that a 7 or above is a solid wine that you should buy, and then anything under a 4 is a wine we think is pretty much crap, and you shouldn't buy it, and probably you should just pour it down the sink. And then a rating of a 5 or 6 for us is a wine that you can drink, and it may not be great, but it's okay enough to drink. And most of our wines kind of fell in that tranche of like 5 to 7, which is about what I would expect. So for this episode, again, we're going to do a couple of things. First, we're going to list the tip top of our highest and the bottom of our lowest rated wines. And then we're going to go and replay again our tastings of our top 2 and our bottom 2 wines. And I think they're pretty fun, and I think they're pretty funny, and actually a lot of things to learn from both the top and the bottom rated wines. So, and we'll share with you exactly what we said and exactly what we thought. But first, we have to do our shameless plug, of course. So we want to thank you for listening to us and for supporting our show. And if you haven't had the chance to do so yet, I can almost say that now would be the perfect time to subscribe to our podcast. And another great way to support us is to leave a nice rating and review on our website or on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or other podcast service so we can continue to grow our listeners. And you can follow us and see pictures of the wines we review and other fun pictures, and maybe even this week and next couple of weeks, some AI pictures on Instagram at the Wine Pair Podcast. And you can contact us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com. And you can sign up for our email newsletter there and get news and food and wine pairing ideas and more. It's the most amazing, most incredible newsletter in the whole world. I can't even tell you how awesome it is. And by the way, if you haven't gotten the previous ones, you can email me and I will send them to you. You can email me at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com and I'll send them to you. And we've got one coming out on the 1st, so sign up now. And then as we do every week, we'll tell you someone we think you should tell about the Wine Pair Podcast. And this week, we want you to tell anyone who is doing any sort of retrospective on their year that was 2023, and especially if they shared with you their Spotify Wrapped or something like that. So if they do that, you just say, hey, by the way, I've got a Wrapped for you, this Wine Pair Podcast. They've got their top and bottom wines of the year. So how about that as a wrap up? And then you can send them this version and say, you're welcome, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. There you go. But without too much more further ado, let's get to our list of the best and worst rated wines of 2023. And again, I'll play you, Carmela will join in a little bit as we play the clips of our top 2 and bottom 2 wines. But we're going to start with our lowest rated wines. And again, on the lowest rated wines, at least one of us rated one of these wines a 4. So we'll work our way down from the best of the worst to the very worst of the worst. So our 5th worst wine came from our second Amazon Cursive wine review all the way back in January. That was episode 62. And actually 2 wines from this worst of list came from that episode on Amazon. So that was a really crappy wine tasting. So I gave the 2019 Cursive Chardonnay a 4 rating, and Carmela gave it a 6. And I think you're going to find a pattern here in the way that Carmela and I rate. Our 4th worst wine was another wine from that very same episode. Again, episode 62, our Amazon Cursive wine review number 2. And this was the 2019 Cursive Cabernet Sauvignon. And we both gave that one a 4. And we found it sort of flabby and thin-bodied and astringent and tasted kind of like cough syrup from the 1980s. Our 3rd worst wine was a recent one from one of our tailgating episodes in the fall, episode 88, which was all wines that came in a can, which we thought would be appropriate for a tailgate party or something. And I rated the wine a 2. Well, Carmela gave it a generous 5. What the heck's up with that? And this was for the Creamery Chardonnay in a can, which I thought tasted like death. In fact, it smelled like a wine that had been left in a rotten wooden box for too long, if that gives you sort of any sort of feeling of what the smell and taste of the wine was. Okay, the runner-up spot for the worst wine of 2023 was called the 2019 Kaleidoscope Petite Syrah, and then the last place wine was the 2019 Seven Deadly Zins California Zinfandel. That came from episode 83, which is California Zinfandel underrated? And I think in that case, no, but actually one of our top wines came from that episode too, which is kind of interesting. But I think you can probably tell, or you'll be able to tell this, that Carmela tends to give a little bit higher ratings than I do on the worst rated wines. But you'll have to listen in just a couple of minutes to hear that. And then on our top rated wines of 2023, all of these received at least 1 9 rating from one of us. And so it was a little bit hard to put them in a particular order. There's 11 of them. So I put them in tranches based on their average score, starting with 8, then 8.5, etc., and then in alphabetical order within those tranches. And again, I think you'll see a pattern emerge. So with an average score of 8, I gave this wine 9 and Carmela gave it a 7. It's the 2020 Ego Bodegas Goru Verde Monastrell from episode 87, which was called WTF is Monastrell. And it's a Spanish wine, and this wine was only $10.99 on wine.com. And this is a red wine, by the way, so you'll start to maybe see this pattern. But I felt like it tasted sort of like a Piedmont wine, like a Nebbiolo from Piedmont, kind of subtle and austere and elegant. Another one in this tranche, this is the second wine in this tranche, the second and last. It got a score of average score of 8. Again, I gave it a 9 and Carmela gave it a 7. This was a recent one. This is the 2021 Joseph Drouin Beaujolais Village. Again, a red wine. So maybe you're seeing the pattern. I rate red wines a little bit higher than Carmela does. And this was from episode 98, our Thanksgiving episode, Bonkers for Beaujolais. And this wine was, again, only $15.99 from Kroger. And this episode will show up again on this list as well. I thought that this wine tasted more like a French Pinot than it did a Beaujolais, but what do I know? The next several wines are in our next tranche, and they got an average score of 85. And again, these are just going to be in alphabetical order. The first one was the 2021 Bloodroot Pinot Noir, which I gave a 9 and Carmela gave an 8. And it came from our high QPR Pinot Noir number 2 episode, which was episode 72. This one was a little bit above our price point at $24.99, but it was good. It was like, we said it tasted like Australian red licorice. By the way, you don't have to memorize all of this. I have all of this information in our show notes. So if you just go to this episode on our website and click on the show notes, you can get this whole list. All right, the next wine in this 8.5 average score tranche came from our latest episode 102, where we went over wines for the Feast of the Seven Fishes. And the wine was called La Cappuccina Suave. It's a great white wine, and Carmela gave it a 9, and I give it an 8. So you'll start to see that Carmela tends to rate the white wines a little bit higher than I do, but it was lemony and crunchy and acidic and beautiful wine. The next wine at this tranche is the 2021 Compton Family Wines Garden Series Rosé of Pinot Noir. I give this wine an 8, and Carmela gave it a 9, and it was from episode 73, which was Wines to Celebrate Mom. And then, believe it or not, the next one on our list came from episode 84, which was our Costco Kirkland Pinot Grigio Challenge, and we actually really loved the Kirkland Costco Signature Grave Pinot Grigio. It's $4.99. Carmela gave it a 9. I gave it an 8. We thought it was lemony and peachy and beautiful. So that's a good one. Great summer wine. And if you want a cheap wine, perfect. Okay, the next one on our list came from episode 92, which is What the F is Pet Nat? And again, Carmela gave the wine a 9 and I gave it an 8. It was the 2022 Entre Viñas Oniric Pet Nat, which is from Spain. And we thought it smelled like beer, like Hefeweizen beer, but in a good way. And then the next wine on this list came from the same episode that our worst rated wine came from, episode 83, which was called Is California Zinfandel Underrated Again? And this was the 2019 Turley Juvenile Zinfandel. I gave it a 9 and Carmela gave it an 8. And we actually said this was a little bit of a punch you in the face wine, which if you know anything about us, we don't love punch you in the face wines, but they're kind of big wines. But this one was a really nice one. And then the last one in this tranche of an average score of 8.5 was the 2018 Villadoria Bricomagno Langhe Nebbiolo, which came from episode 61. So really early in the year last year, which was our Italian wine adventure number 5 based on Langhe Nebbiolo. I gave it a 9. Carmela gave it an 8. Curious. Carmela gave it a lower score than me by just 1. But again, our ratings on red wines and white wines tend to differ just a little bit. So we said it was elegant and had good depth, and it smelled like rose petals and licorice and cherry and tar and tobacco. It was a great wine. And now we're not going to go into these in too much detail because we're going to play them for you in a minute. Our second to the top rated wine was the 2021 Domaine Francis Blanchet Pouilly Fumé, and that came from our episode 68, WTF is Pouilly Fumé. And the top wine, which I actually gave a 10, little hint there, came from a super recent episode. It was that Bonkers for Beaujolais, that Thanksgiving episode, episode 98. It was the 2021 Domaine du Peuple Père et Fils Beaujolais. But that's it. I think we've gone through this list. Again, you can get this list if you go to our show notes for this episode. And what we're going to do now here in just a few seconds is listen to our tasting and reviews of our top 2 and bottom 2 wines of the year. So we're going to start with the first of our best wines. Then we're going to do our 2 worst wines, and then we're going to end with our best of the best wine. So let's go to our number 2 overall top wine of 2023. And here you go. Okay, we are back and we're ready to try our first wine. Woohoo! So again, this is the Domaine Francis Blanchet Pouilly Fumé Cuvée Célis. And again, this is the one, the Blanchet one. This is, and I like the label. I'm not sure you like the label. It's kind of fancy. I'll tell you what, a lot of words. There's a lot of words on it. So much going on. Well, if you go to our Instagram, you can see it. It's from Loire, France, obviously. The producer is Domaine Francis Blanchet. It's a 2021. This was $24.99 at wine.com. 12.5% alcohol, and it is 100% Sauvignon Blanc. So let's see what we're smelling.
Well, first of all, it's so light. It's super light. Color. It's almost, it's like cream. It's very pretty, and it smells nice.
It does smell nice.
I'm not getting a big, the signature fumé on it. Are you?
I am.
I'm not really getting it.
No, I'm getting a little bit of, just a tiny bit of like a match, like a burnt match.
Okay.
I really am. But I'm getting more like tropical fruit, but also some peach. I feel like I'm getting some peach. Do you get that at all?
Maybe a little bit of stone fruit like that. Yeah, yeah. But I'm getting the tropical.
A little apple maybe too? Mm-hmm. It smells like a Sauvignon Blanc to me.
Ooh, it's
doesn't it?
Really nice. Yeah. But I didn't expect it to be as fruity just from what you were saying before, but definitely that tropical fruit.
You were expecting maybe more smoky or something?
I was. Yeah. I'm not getting a ton of smoke on it, but definitely I'm almost a touch, I mean the apple, but like a very not underripe, but fresh pineapple.
Yeah. Like really not overripe, not a super sweet one, maybe more tangy. All right, well, let's try it and see what we think.
Ooh, very fruity.
It's very fruity, but also really super acidic, super tart, and super clean.
It's really nice. I like this.
It's got that stone on it, too.
Yeah,
you can
it does
taste
have the stone.
It's nice.
But it's definitely tropical fruit. Like, this reminds me of being on the beach somewhere.
I will say, does it? Does it on the beach, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, like, just the smell, everything.
Actually, I know what you're. I was thinking like the beaches around here, but more like
like
the Italian,
Hawaii.
or even like the Italian Riviera,
right? Or the French
Nice.
Riviera.
You're in Nice.
Yeah, well, that's in France.
This wine is so good.
It's very good. It's delicious.
It's really got some complexity to it. Like I'm sounding like a nerd, but the end of it, it's got like almost it's got like a tropical taste, kind of like follow through. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's nice.
And there's a little bit of citrus on it, I want to say, with that acidity.
There definitely is.
But it's like it hits your mouth and you get that tropical fruit, but it's like you can taste it at the back end of it, but it's very clean too.
Super
That's
clean.
why I think it would be so nice with food.
It's really more pineapple-y. Like sometimes you get a Sauvignon Blanc and I think pog, like almost that pog.
Right.
But this one is more pineapple.
Yeah, a little fresher. Like I think those can be kind of heavy. A pog drink is kind of heavy, and some of those wines are. This is a little lighter.
And now I'm tasting that lemon.
Yeah,
I am tasting
that little lemon.
That lemon,
or citrus.
and almost a little like the bitterness of the pith on it a little bit.
It's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
What would you pair? What food would you pair with this pouilly fumé?
Oh, I think you could do a nice fish with this.
Yeah,
for sure, like fresh fish. Like I think this is like a dinner out at a nice restaurant. You're having a plated fish with fresh vegetables or roasted vegetables even. What are you going to have?
Well, I'm thinking back to like our nerding out when we did a trip to Italy and we were in the Genoa area and Joey and I we were having. Do you remember this? We were having lunch on the beach. And it was a restaurant that was kind of like on the beach.
Was it Santa
It may have been,
it
might have been.
Okay.
And we shared like a plate of fried fish, but it was like really fresh fried fish. It wasn't like, I mean, it like some of the fish still had the head on it.
Oh my!
And it was really good.
Yeah, that would be delicious.
It was. It was really lightly breaded.
Yeah, something exactly.
Yeah, it was really good.
Oh, that sounds.
But I think this would go well with a lot of things. Spicy foods. We always talk about that. Asian foods.
Yeah.
Like it would be. This is a really good.
I definitely think it would do really nice. It's a little bit more of a delicate wine too, though. Do you think? Like it's not.
Well, it's not a heavy. You're right. Like it's not a big Chardonnay. It's not like a big Chardonnay.
No,
it's not got a heavy body.
And
it's
creamy. Yeah.
No, it's got a light body.
Yeah.
It's not even medium bodied. It's maybe on the edge of a medium body, but it's lighter body.
It's really interesting because it has such a distinct tropical fruit taste, but on the lighter end of it.
It's
I really like it.
Let's go to ratings. So as a reminder to all of our friends, all of you out there, I know we rate on a scale of 1 to 10, and 7 and above means, hey, we're gonna buy this sucker, and 4 below means no, we're gonna dump this stuff out and pour it down the sink. 5 or 6 means meh. It's okay.
Right,
We'll drink it. We'll finish it. We might look for something else, but we're okay with it. We're good with it. We're not going to dump it out, but we're probably not going to buy it. Right?
I get it.
Yeah. So what rating are you going to give this wine?
Okay. So I don't know if I've done this for a while, but I'm going to give it a 9.
Me too.
Oh,
I'm totally at 9.
Yeah.
I'm totally at 9. I mean.
Do you think the extra dollars made a difference?
Well, we're going to find out.
Okay.
We're going to find out.
And it may not even have to do with the extra dollars. It's just these are good winemakers.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so far really pleased with this wine.
Yeah.
I think it's worth the money. But,
I think this could be a really special occasion.
This is for us. For us, this is a break the bank kind of wine.
Right, and you're going to have just another couple over.
Yes, it's a beautiful wine too. It's really.
You don't need more than one bottle to share with.
Well, you might.
If it's just you and me.
But you said another couple.
I know.
All right. We're going to take a pause and we're going to try our next wine.
Okay.
Now we're going to go to our second worst rated wine of the year. This is our second worst from all the way back in July. And here you go. Okay, we are back and we are ready to try our last wine. This is the Kaleidoscope Petite Syrah. It's from California. It's a 2019. It was $14.99 at Total Wine. It's only 13.5% alcohol. So compared to the other two, it's not as high in alcohol. It's Petite Syrah, 100% Petite Syrah as far as I know. And I think Wine Enthusiast gave this a 90 rating at a Best Buy, but I'm not sure if I can actually trust that. Okay, so let's, what are you smelling on this wine?
Okay, so I'm getting smoke again, but it kind of smells sour.
I'm getting more flowers. This one's flowery.
Okay. Yeah, but maybe like a rose or something? Rose petals? Like in terms of what type of flower?
Yeah. As I swirl it, though, I'm getting more like earth, vegetal. It's not as pleasant when it's swirled around. It's actually better when it just kind of sits in the glass. It's got fruit, but it's grapey. It smells grapey to me again.
Okay.
Spicy. I'm smelling some spiciness.
Pepper again? Okay.
Pepper again.
Okay. Or paprika, you said on the first one.
I'm getting that sour now. I see what you're saying. I'm getting that sour.
Is it like a sour cherry? Like an underripe cherry? Or is it almost like orange?
Vinegary almost.
Okay. I know. It's almost a little citrusy to me, which is probably weird.
No, I can buy that though. I like a blood orange.
Yeah. Something rich.
Well, let's try it.
Wow. Totally different.
It tastes really sour.
It's super sour.
Yeah.
Tart.
Yeah. It tastes citrusy. It tastes like an orange. It has an
like
orange
the orange
taste.
rind too.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like it tastes like an orange.
I know. I don't know why that is.
It's weird. This is not what I would have expected.
Doesn't taste like the other two at all either. It's a big taste. It's rich.
You
don't like it. You don't like it. Kaleidoscope hypnotized you, honey.
Ugh.
It doesn't taste like even like wine.
No, it doesn't have the boldness of the others. It doesn't have the mouthfeel of the others. This is not a very good wine.
He's closing his eyes, shaking his head. He's so disappointed in this wine.
It's like almost tastes like tart and sour and orange. It tastes
not
like
really
oranges.
red fruit. I can't get a lot of red fruit off of this guy.
It's hard to drink. I'm finding it very difficult to drink.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be able to finish this glass.
No, I don't want to drink anymore. I'm kidding. Well, actually, I take it back. It's one of those things, where you smell something bad and you're like, ooh, and then you want to smell it again just to make sure you smelled it. It's kind of like that. Like I kind of want to taste it again just to make sure. Like, okay, I'm going to do it again.
Ooh.
It just wants me to like pucker. Wants me to pucker up. It's not. Is it vinegary? But it's kind of vinegary.
It's a little bit.
I don't think it's turned,
weird
though.
too. No,
I don't think it's a turned wine.
I also think this is going to be weird, maybe too. But this is room temperature, like it normally should be drank. But I almost feel like it should be cold. Yeah, just like put an ice cube in it. Water it down a little bit. I don't know.
What food would you pair with this Petite Syrah?
Oh, you want food just because I
don't know.
You can't drink this on its own.
I don't think you'd have it with what food is it going to complement?
Well, you might want to have something big to kind of, wash it out. Blech. I don't know. I just don't think that I want to eat with this though.
The aftertaste, I'm telling you are exactly right. Yeah, bread. I'm getting orange rind.
Yeah, it's kind
like
of
the orange peel.
Right. It's kind of, you take a little bite of it and you don't really love it. Yeah. But it has that little bit, like if it's a zest, it's okay. But like a bite of it just is too intense.
I don't really, food to pair, I don't think I would pair food. I just don't think it's very good. What rating are you going to give this wine?
I'm going to give this one, this is bad, but I don't think I'd finish. I mean, I'm thinking like a 4.
Oh, I'm giving it a generous 3.
Okay.
Generous 3.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like, I don't know why I'm not giving it a 2.
Yeah, it's not.
Because I'm not going to finish it. The only reason I would drink more is to kind of like, punish myself a little bit. Like if I had
punch you in the face.
If I had a penance or something that I needed to do, I would. It's a bad wine. I'm sorry.
It's not a good one.
I'm sorry. I'm sure there's people out there that really like it. I apologize.
Is it 100% Petite Syrah?
That's what I think. But it just doesn't even taste like the other ones.
No.
It doesn't taste like the other ones.
Something went sideways.
Yeah. And now, before we give you the best wine that we tasted in 2023, we're going to share with you the crappiest wine that we tried this year. And it comes it also came from the summer. I guess the summer was not great for us for tasting wines for some reason. I don't know. But here we go. The worst wine, according to what we tasted and reviewed this year at the Wine Pair podcast, the number one worst wine of 2023. Okay, we are back and we are ready to try our last wine. This is the 7 Deadly Zins Old Vine Zinfandel. It's from Lodi, California. This is a 2019. $14.99 at QFC is how much it cost. QFC, again, a Kroger. 15% alcohol. And this is Zinfandel with a touch of Petite Sirah. But we don't know what a touch is.
A pinch.
What are you smelling, Carmela?
It's not as, there's not a huge bouquet on it compared to the other two.
Almost none.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. The Turley was just like smack you in the face. Mm-hmm. This one, I'm getting lighter, like a raspberry. I mean, I'm getting a little fruit behind it. It doesn't have the smokiness, I don't think.
A little bit, like a touch of it.
Yeah.
Maybe like a match burn.
I'm actually getting like some rubbing alcohol on it. I don't know why, but a little bit of that.
It's, to me, it smells like it's going to be tart. Mm-hmm. Getting a little bit
young.
of fruit.
It smells young.
And it's really got a faint, I'm smelling that astringency now too. Mm-hmm. It's got a faint berry kind of smell to it, but not a lot. Like there's not, you know what I was smelling before too? And this might be that astringency is potpourri. Like a potpourri spray.
Okay.
Like a flowery spray.
Just the spray, though, not a fresh flower.
No, you know that potpourri.
Right.
Yeah, the spray.
Or dry? Are dry flowers potpourri dry? Or like
no, I'm thinking about the spray.
Okay. I know you've said the spray several times now, but so you're
Carmela,
thinking of the spray?
Yeah, like Brussels sprouts, the spray.
Wow. Okay.
Let's try.
See if it changes our mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not dried flowers, spray. Okay.
The spray? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Super tart.
Really tart.
Wow.
And it is sticking around. It fills the mouth and stays around. Ooh. You're like going to have lockjaw. Are you getting lockjaw on that one?
Now compare this one to the Turley. Come on.
The Turley just, you know what? This sounds weird, but the Turley kind of smells expensive.
Oh, like me. Kind of smell expensive.
I never said that.
How about our son, Mikey, he loves to like...
He smells expensive.
Guess what?
And he
does smell expensive because he doesn't buy like the knockoff, stuff.
We tried to get him knockoff. Remember?
And he was like, I liked it, and then he used it once.
It's never come out again.
I think all he's done is burn it. No, he was like, he wore like Sex Panther last night or something.
What?
I don't know. It was expensive and it smelled.
It's called... You just said that.
I made it up.
You have to bleep that out.
No, that's from Ron Burgundy.
Oh,
that's right.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, this wine does not smell or taste expensive.
And it doesn't seem any, well, maybe that skosh, that touch kind of messed it up. I don't know. But like,
it's
ooh, this is not a good one for you.
No,
it's kind of vinegary.
And potpourri. It smells like I'm squirted potpourri into my mouth.
Ooh, not the dried stuff?
No, the spray. It's not good. I'm not drinking any more of it. It's not good. It's bad.
This is going down the sink.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah. Don't you think it's bad? I think it's bad.
I feel like we've had this wine.
We probably...
Did we do this one before?
No, we've never done it before. I feel like I need a tongue scraper.
Are you sure?
Okay, I am sure.
Okay.
Maybe we have. I don't know. But I feel like I need a tongue scraper.
Mikey's got those too.
He's got everything. That guy. He's got a water pick.
He's got expensive taste.
And he does.
And he's got a
budget.
a very clean mouth.
Jeez, thank God his parents are willing to throw money at him, I guess. Okay, what would you eat with this crappy wine? Ugh.
Not a lot. Nah, yeah. I would probably not finish this.
No, clearly not. But would you eat it? I don't even know what would go with it.
I don't know what you would want something that's going to disguise it or mask it. I don't know, honey.
Nothing. I think I would eat nothing with this wine. I don't think anything would pair with it.
Oh boy, the 7 Deadly Zins.
Yeah, it's not getting a 7. It's not getting a 7.
It's going down the drain.
That's right. What rating would you give this?
Oh man, this is tough because this isn't my go-to, and then I'm not going to finish it. I hate to give this. No, but I'm like, in general, I'm not a big red wine gal, but I'm just kind of feeling like I'm not going to finish this. It's going down the sink.
Oof.
Can I pass it off to somebody? I don't know. Okay, so I would probably give it like a 4 or 3. Even.
You are such a nice grader. I'm giving it a 2.
Oh my God.
I'm giving it a 2. It is bad. I'm sorry.
I mean,
if you like this wine, I'm sorry.
I feel bad for the deadly. I don't want it to die.
I'm mad at them. They made me mad from the get-go, and I apologize. Look, if you guys like this wine, please just take our taste as our taste. It's fine.
And again, you might love it.
Yeah, and it's fine. But I'm going to say it's a bad wine. Yeah, it's bad. It's just not.
Okay, I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay.
Oh,
nice. Gosh, a 3. Nice. That's just being nice. From a 4 to a 3 is being nice.
Well,
ladies and gentlemen, she went backwards and said it was nice. That's my life. That is my life right there. And now, on to our best rated wine this year. And it came from a very recent episode. And without further ado, here you go. Okay, we are back and we are ready to try our last wine. And this is the one I'm having trouble pronouncing. It's the Domaine du Plebet Père et Fils Beaujolais. It's from Beaujolais, France. Hey, who knew?
Oh my.
Also a 2021. This was a little over $20. It was $20.99. Okay.
Ooh.
I got it at QFC. But see, the other ones were even more expensive than this. So I thought this was close enough.
Oh, wow.
So I lied. They're not all under $20. I lied. One is $20.99. Okay. Got it at QFC, 12% alcohol, 100% Gamay. And I don't want to talk about it anymore. Actually, the bottle. Let's talk about the bottle super quick.
Oh, it's really pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's very simple in terms of...
But kind of formal.
But exactly. It's a fancy writing. It's a nice thick-bottomed bottle.
Thick bottom.
It's a
Pinot bottle.
It's very pretty.
It's a Pinot Noir bottle.
Bottle, yeah. But this would be nice, and it would be simple, and it wouldn't clash with your tablescape.
Yes, you're right. Okay, so let's talk about what we smell. Don't swirl it. What do you smell?
Okay, I'm getting some cherry, but when I first swirled it, I was getting smoke.
Okay, this to me, cherry, spicy cherry. It's like spiced cherry. I don't know what's like a cinnamon spiced cherry.
Oh, like
or
a
something.
winter cherry punch.
It's got some spices on it, but like maybe baking spices, but hot, like a cinnamon hot.
Okay, I get it, like a cinnamon bear.
Mm-hmm. And when you
Oh.
swirl it, you get some of that earthiness, some of that like clay. I'm getting that clay.
I was getting smoke, but now that I've left it alone,
A little tiny bit of smoke.
I'm not getting it as much. Yeah.
Do you get that spiciness though? It's really nice.
I am. Yeah, it feels very holiday to me too.
Totally.
Yeah.
There is almost a cinnamony kind of smell to it, like a cinnamon candy kind of smell.
Like a red cinnamon bear or a hot tamale.
Or those round cinnamon candies, the red.
Oh, right, little ones.
Peppermint.
Oh, peppermint? That's different
almost like,
than cinnamon, honey.
But you're right. It is different. Okay, so it's the red ones that have a little bit of pink in them because they're cinnamon.
You know what's so funny?
You were with me until I said that.
Yeah, and then
it's cinnamon Altoid.
Ew, no. I don't like a cinnamon Altoid.
Oh God, those are good.
Only wintergreen.
Okay, well let's try it and see.
This is interesting. I was going more with that cinnamon bear, like a hot tamale.
It's totally cinnamony.
Cinnamon or peppermint though?
It's cinnamon.
I think it's
definitely cinnamon.
Like what's the gum? Big Red.
Yes.
A little Big Red.
It is like a Big Red gum.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And it almost is like, if you have too much Big Red. Only
And
our oldest and I would know.
Your jaw starts to hurt?
No. Your tongue starts to get raw.
And you start to drool so much.
No, only our oldest and I would understand that because we would eat like 2 or 3 pieces at a time because we loved it so much.
Yes, you would have like 3 slices of gum.
My tongue hurts. That's weird. I don't know. I'm an adult. That shouldn't happen. I'm an adult.
Okay, so this wine, I can totally taste that cinnamon. It's got some of that cherry. It's got some of that like smoke. It does have a little smoke on it.
Yeah.
It's almost like a little charred flavor to it. It's very rich. Like it's not a thick wine, but it's a rich wine. It's got a lot going on.
You could do red meat with this wine.
Yeah, you could actually do any. I think this is a super versatile wine.
Yeah.
It is, again, not that really fruity. The first wine that we had, the Domaine Pinard, that is like, to me, classic Beaujolais, bright, fruity, cherry. These last two, the last one was very austere. This one is more rich. Like this has richness and depth, and this is like a fancy formal wine to me.
Right. This is a lot going on, a lot to talk about. a lot to taste, very complex.
And I think if you serve this, nobody would guess this is a Gamay. I think they would think it's some other type of wine.
But, the cinnamon kind of throws you off a little bit, or that bit of, it's kind of that big red or cinnamon bear, kind of a candy, but it feels very winter.
And now that you talk about it, I'm getting a little bit of I am getting a little pepperminty menthol, a little bit of menthol in this, almost like evergreen too, like an evergreen, like a pine tree, almost like pine tree on it.
Yeah, I could.
Are you getting that?
Yeah.
Like sometimes the sap, like the sap on a pine tree, it almost smells cinnamony. It smells spicy.
Yeah, I can see it's funny. This is almost setting a scene in my brain. I can see a snow-capped pine tree.
Totally.
I don't know why this is so weird.
With red berries on it.
Exactly that, and this would be next to it.
This is a great wine.
Yeah, and it's very holiday.
Do you think that was what I was going to say? It's a very holiday wine. It looks like a holiday. The bottle, perfect for the tablescape. In the glass, it's the darkest of the three. Very pretty looking wine. It's just a nice wine. And I think with the food, do you think it would go with Thanksgiving dinner?
Yes, I do. I think you could do Christmas with this.
Too. It's a great Christmas wine.
I kind of feel I know it is a little bit more than what we typically spend too, but this is high Q what?
High QPR. Yeah. This is a high QPR wine.
Yeah, it's because it feels like it's more expensive.
It
feels more.
Well,
expensive.
What's funny? This is the one that they say it drinks. I think this is the one they said that it drinks like a Cru Beaujolais. I've never had a Cru Beaujolais, but it's drinking like a much more expensive wine.
Yes,
it's really nice.
This is an impressive tasting wine.
Yeah, this may be my highest rated wine ever that we've had on the show. This is a great wine.
Wow.
This is a great wine.
Yeah.
And I would serve it with, I think Christmas, I think it's a very holiday wine. It's a beautiful looking wine. If you just mentioned this before when we were off camera, off tape, you're like, Friendsgiving. What about Friendsgiving? Oh, if you brought this to Friendsgiving.
Bring it to your Friendsgiving event. Yeah.
I think if you pop this under your arm and you brought it to somebody, you're trying to impress the new in-laws. If you want to impress the new in-laws, bring this wine.
That's not Friendsgiving, honey.
Well, you're right. That's family's giving.
Yeah. But if you're going with your friends too, I brought it's a great hostess gift or host gift too.
But I think it's a great wine. And then you're right. Christmas dinner, you could have this with turkey or ham or even
roast beast.
Roast. Yeah.
Roast beast.
Yeah. Prime rib. I think this would stand up just fine to a prime rib.
Oh, for sure.
I think it would taste great. And it's got that kind of holiday flair to it.
Yeah.
Totally. So what rating are you going to give this wine?
Well, you know me, I am not a big red wine drinker. These ones have really wowed me tonight.
They are really good wines.
Yeah, this is a
three
great
really
selection.
Good wines.
Yeah. I think that for me, since these are not my go-to, I'm going to give it a 9.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm giving it a 10. I'm giving it a 10. I've never given it a 10 before. This is a great wine. It's a fantastic wine. And you know what? I really am bonkers for Beaujolais. It's just not what I expected.
Yeah.
And it's so good. It's so rich and it's just an excellent wine.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I like that it says Kermit on the front.
There you go.
Kermit
there you go.
the frog.
No, it's not Kermit the Frog. Well, that was fun. I hope you found that fun. I certainly did. And again, it's holiday period, so we did this retrospective. We thought this would be a really fun thing to do. Next couple of weeks, we're going to be sharing some interviews that we did because, we're going to be, it's the holiday season, so we're going to be taking some time, but we don't want you to miss any content. So we've got some great interviews coming up with some really great winemakers. A mini-sode may be thrown in there as well, but we'll be back. It's just about time for us to go, and we want to thank you before we do very much for listening to us. And if you haven't done so yet, hey, how about subscribe to the podcast and maybe follow us on Instagram? That's a super great thing to do, and maybe leave us a nice rating and review. And hey, Santa Claus is watching, so you want to do that. Anyway, we would also love to hear from you about tell us some wines you want us to taste, or varietals that you think we don't cover enough, or styles of wine that you think we don't cover enough. Let us know. We would love to hear and give you our honest reviews of what we think of those wines, and we just love to hear from you. So you can always email us at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com, and you can visit our website at thewinepairpodcast.com and join our email newsletter there. But that's it. We're going to sign off, or I guess I am. Carmela's upstairs right now, literally upstairs, making baby cakes and baby bites. But thank you very much again. We'll see you next time. And as we like to say, life is short, so stop drinking shitty wine. Bye-bye.
And the happy ending